Good Tuesday morning to you. We are at the bridge or near the bridge for a blessing. And it comes from the Gospel of Matthew as we continue on the Sermon on the Mount from chapter 7, verses 3 to 5. And the subject is blind spots. We all have them. Blind spots are when we can't see in ourselves what others around us see so clearly. They're called blind spots. And they can be dangerous in a car. As you're traveling down Spalding Turnpike going 70 miles an hour, you're about ready to pull into the left lane and you don't see a car in your blind spot that's going 80 miles an hour. That can be a problem. That's dangerous. The newer cars have motion sensors that pick them up, and a light flashes on so that you don't make a really big mistake. Unfortunately, in life, we don't have those motion sensors. We just have blind spots. And what can be dangerous on the highway can be devastating to a relationship when you are going around pointing out the faults of others when you can't see the faults in your own life or choose not to. That brings us to the scripture, Matthew 7, verses 3 to 5. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye when you have a log in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," when you have a log in your own eye? You hypocrite. First, take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Now, as we've said before, these verses are not telling us that we shouldn't judge others or shouldn't point out faults in others. It's just saying that we should first clear our own eyes from the sins, be able to see the things that are in our own lives before we point out the faults in the lives of others. So this is all about taking the log out of your eye. And just because you're religious, by the way, doesn't mean that there's no guarantee that you will not be a hypocrite. Because remember the Pharisees? These were the most religious people in Jesus' day. They prayed on the street corner so everybody could see them. They knew the scripture backwards and forwards. And yet they became the whipping boys for Jesus. And Jesus often in the gospel scolded them for being hypocrites, for not seeing in themselves what they pointed out to others. So being religious is no guarantee. So how do we get the log out so that we can take the speck out? Well, Charles Spurgeon, the great preacher of the 19th century, he had a suggestion for us. He said, be your own accuser. Be your own accuser. In other words, have those times in every day, or at least regularly, where you take an accounting of yourself. Instead of looking through a window into the lives of others, you look into the mirror so that you look at yourself and you see your own faults. Be your own accuser rather than accusing others. But remember, you still have blind spots. Even when you look into a mirror, you might miss what others see in you. And so a second step would be having someone in your life who loves you and who has the permission, because they love you, to point out faults in you that they see so clearly and that others see, but that you don't see in yourself. For me, that's my wife. Not that she goes around accusing me, but she knows me well enough, and she sees in me things that I don't see in myself, and she points them out. And it hurts at first, but I love her, and so I listen to her, and she can help me to take the log out. And so before you go around pointing the finger and seeing the faults of others, have those times where you are your own accuser and you look into the mirror, and the things that you don't see, allow someone else in your life to see that and to point it out so that you can be a better person and not a hypocrite. Get the log out. You'll always have blind spots, but you don't always have to have a log in your eye. So that's the blessing for today from the Gospel of Matthew. This is Tuesday, and on Wednesday we have our Bible study. We've just started the book of Revelation. It's a good time for you to jump in. You'll receive an invite. It's a Zoom meeting, so you receive an invite in your flock note. If you don't receive the flock note, message me, give me a call, let me know, and I'll invite you to that meeting. We're having a great time growing in our relationships with each other and growing in our relationship with the Lord. So that's tomorrow at 7 o'clock. God bless your Tuesday.